We wanted to just take a brief opportunity tonight. First of all, I want to thank the board for their support in engaging in the possible opportunity for another cultural experience for our students. My colleague Ingrid Huss is our German teacher here. So the two of us accompanied each other to Germany. We were not there for a particularly long time, but we were there long enough to get a good look at the school and such. So Stuttgart, Germany, we wanted to just share, we wanted to give you some photos, bring it to life a little bit for you all so you get a little idea of where we were and some of the opportunities that our students would have with this type of travel. So Stuttgart, Germany, you can see is at the bottom part of Germany. It's the southern part. It's very accessible to some other countries, and Ingrid's going to talk about that a little bit and some of the travel ideas that we have for our students. So again, this is a city map picture. This the school is over on the left in the circle. That's the school that we visited. This is the name of the school. We had an opportunity to see their school, but I did want to reiterate, and I'd be remiss if I didn't say that the week prior to us visiting Germany, they were with us at our school. Dr. Goodman was with us. Again, we had an opportunity to show them our facility, to meet our staff, to get out in our
Dr.
community.
Nugent, I'm sorry, but could you just back up for
Yes.
like 5 seconds and just kind of go over how this thing started? Because,
Absolutely, yeah. It's a good point.
Yeah, because they literally this is one of these opportunities because they reached out to us.
Yes.
So if you want to just
Sure,
give
yeah.
a quick
it's a good
overview.
point. Yep. Yeah, not a problem. So what happened was, well, first of all, I mean, I am personally always looking for opportunities for our students, and we were contacted by this school in Germany. They were looking for a school to partner with in the United States. One of the parents in the school system is from Philadelphia. They live in Germany now. So she was familiar with this area, and she reached out to a few select schools that she felt would be a good match possibly for them and that might be interested. She knew that we already had a program in exchange, so that's how this all came to be. I just bit to their announcement that they put out. I think they reached out to about 4 or 5 schools in the area. I think Unionville was one, Springford, I think Wissahickon was one, a couple schools that we would be familiar with. And so I just responded. Subsequently, Dr. Gooden and I and Ingrid had maybe 4 or 5 Skype meetings over the course of a few months to get to know each other, talk about what it may look like. So that's how this was born. So it's a good point, Mr. Bell, thank you. So they visited with us. We had an opportunity to visit with them. So their visit with us was an awesome visit. It was exhausting because we were on the run the whole time. But again, they were very, very impressed, as we were with them. They were very impressed with everything that we had here in the States. So this is the school. This is the inside of their school. And again, this is just a pictorial dossier here, so we can show you some pictures and then talk a little bit about what the exchange will look like. This is another picture of the outside of their school in Stuttgart. It's a city school. It is comprised of 5th through 12th grade. That would sound a little bit different in our world, but I student taught in a 5th through 12th grade building, so it's not unheard of even in the state of Pennsylvania. They have 3 5th grade classes, 3 6, 3 7, all the way up to 12. So they have three in each grade. Like Ireland, this is, you have to apply to get into these schools. So even though they're public schools, you still have to make application to get in. So the programs that they have is what attracts students, similar to us in a way, I guess, but they have exchange programs with India. They have an exchange just like we do with Ireland. They have one with India. They have one with France. And they also, so all their freshmen visit London for a week in their freshman year, and then they have these other exchanges. This would be their exchange with the United States. So again, just the outside of the building. It was very nice, clean, neat. This is a courtyard of the building. Again, just photos of the school itself. They do have an outdoor area now. The day we were there, it was wet and rainy and cold, kind of like it's been here. So I was very, very, very familiar with that. This is their cafeteria. That's a separate building there on the left, if you see, and then this is their cafeteria. Their students go out to eat for lunch, kind of like I think Boyertown High School still has that as an option because of where they're located. So they do have a cafeteria, and they serve, Ingrid, about 100 students a day, because some do not have the opportunity to go out, especially the younger ones. The parents don't want them leaving So the younger ones would stay, and they do have, very similar to us, and they prepare the food and serve there. They have bikes, but it's a city school, so they take a bus or they ride a bike. We found it interesting culturally that fifth graders get on a bus, 7-10 miles away and take the bus to school without a parent. They just get on the bus and go. So, we kind of thought that might not go over too well here, but I know that, yeah, true. So anyway, a lot of bike riding and such. This is the outside of their building, a courtyard. This is all within the confines of the school. So that's myself and some of their colleagues speaking. This is their library, their media center. That's it. So it's about a half the size of our cafe in our media center, but that's a very, very treasured place to them. And the person that operates it is very, very fond of it. This is their classroom, so no different from our classrooms. This is one of their computer classes. This is one of their engineering classes. So you can see they have the STEM initiative going, and the students they were excited for us to be there, and they were showing us some of the different things that they do in class, like we did when they were with us. So again, we were in, and all the teachers, this is their faculty planning area. Honestly, it's kind of odd. They treat you like royalty when you're there, that they standing ovation when we walked in, as if we were, somebody special or something. Yeah, I guess, yeah. So, but it was very nice welcoming. This is their gymnasium. You can see it's a nice size, a beautiful place. It's very different from our sister school in Ireland, which is kind of a module environment, where this is, although they are building a new school, so we should be comparable soon. Lockers in the hallway, very similar. They do hang their coats on the side of the hallway, little difference. Their classes in physics. This is a memorial. I think it's in every school, they said, Ingrid. So every school in Germany has to have this memorial in their buildings for the wars that they had. And Stuttgart is interesting because Stuttgart was pretty much destroyed in the war. And so most of the architecture there is since the war. So there's still some older buildings, remnants of older buildings, but a lot of it has been rebuilt. So interesting to kind of be there and feel that and just have that in your mindset. So this young man was a young man that his parent is the one from Philadelphia. So I recognized him when I got in the room, and he became my favorite student right away. So this was, I think he was a 7th grader, I believe. So that's a good picture there. This is their swimming pool. So they do have a swimming pool, and it's not on the 3rd floor. It's right across the street. So they have a beautiful facility for swimming. All their physical education classes have swimming as part of their curriculum. This is a restaurant we ate at. A restaurant that we ate at, yeah.
Where the students go.
Oh, where the students go, all right. So yeah, the students would have lunch there. A lot of the students would go there. This is the TV tower in Stuttgart. It overlooks the entire city, and if it was a clear day, which you can see it was not, they say you can see the Alps in Switzerland, so yeah, it's amazing. So the views, we just didn't get that opportunity because it was a cloudy, rainy day, just like here, except for the last couple. This is a castle in town. This is the main area of the city. And I have to say, it's beautiful. It really was very, very nice. Very friendly people, very welcoming, and very, very different from our Ireland experience, because I've been to both. Both of them are awesome. This is the city center, if you will. There's no vehicles, no cars here. This is just a shopping area. And it has every store you can imagine, just like here. Very, very, very familiar, very similar in that sense. So again, this is another angle of that. Some of the older architecture, there's a church there on the left, and some of the other areas that we saw. What was that? That was
the Holocaust.
Oh, the Holocaust Memorial, yes, where those blocks are. So that was pretty powerful. It was, people put flowers there almost every day and such. So it was an interesting piece. Every day at lunchtime, after lunch, they go out. I mean, they stop everything, and these cafes are swamped, and everybody eats cake and drinks coffee. I don't usually eat cake, and I never drink coffee, so it was a very different experience for me. But this is a tradition in Germany. That's just what they do at lunchtime, or after lunch. I don't know how you go back to work and be falling asleep after that, but it was an interesting tradition. And because I walked in, the place was packed. I mean, you couldn't get a seat. And I said, I'm like, do these adults, yes, the adults. And even in the school, because they're done school early. So what time do they finish? 1? Like 1. So They would go to lunch, and a lot of times they don't. They do have after-school, kind of like we did with the Y. They have that there. They'll have teachers stay late for the younger students that would stay later in the day because the parents are working. But the older students all leave school.
So they start, I mean, is a condensed school day?
7:50, almost the same as us, 7:50 a.m.
7:15,
7:50.
50?
50. Do they have the same type of after-school, like extracurricular activity,
No,
like football,
no,
like
nope,
the?
no.
So what, do they go just do homework, or do they work?
They would do homework, they'd go to work, or they'll go to club. It's all club. So sports are club.
Okay.
So they don't have sports as part of their program. No, but they do have physical education as a major part of it, but not sports. So this is the Mercedes Museum, because this is the birthplace of Mercedes. It's also the birthplace of Porsche and Bosch. There are three major companies in this town. So I kind of joked with the folks we were with, because I was on the street corner and I saw Porsche, Mercedes, Mercedes. I saw this once in like Beverly Hills somewhere, but this was amazing to see these cars. And it was, yes, so I would say it's a fairly affluent town. Yeah, I don't know what they cost. But it was we did visit that briefly. They took us on a quick tour of that. And I was going to let Ingrid talk a little bit about the potential travel opportunities.
All right, we were thinking, our first week would be in the school in Stuttgart, and then the second week we would like to travel. And since it's an exchange with Germany, we wanted to go to the German-speaking countries. So we were thinking starting in Germany, going to Austria, go through Liechtenstein, and then end up in Switzerland. And so there you see the map. They're all very close, like within a few hours you could travel from one city to the other and then stay overnight and then move on again. And here are some of the places that we thought we would start in Munich, München in Germany, and see the old part of the city, go to the Olympia Park, the Olympia Stadium, like the soccer stadium that you can still go. They have the Deutsche Museum that we could go, and maybe even take a little side trip to Dachau, a concentration camp. So we would get a little bit of everything, culture, history, everything. And then from there, we would go to Salzburg in Austria, the sound of music. Everybody, or at least my kids who take German, they know the Salzburg, they know the sound of music, birthplace of Mozart, so we would see that. We would go to Hallau, and that's the salt mines, so go visit the salt mines outside of Salzburg. And then the next stop would be Neuschwanstein, the castle in Neuschwanstein. That was the example for Walt Disney for his Cinderella castle, and probably the most famous castle in Germany. So that's in the southern part of Germany, not too far away from Munich. And then we would go to Innsbruck, Austria, and there we see the old city again, the golden roof, the Goldene Dachel, and we would go to see the Olympic jumping ramp. So that's like a big thing that you see in Innsbruck. And then from Innsbruck, we would go through Liechtenstein. Liechtenstein, very, very tiny country, about as small as Washington, D.C., but we could drive through and go visit Vaduz. Vaduz, the capital of Liechtenstein. There's not so much to see, but you get a tour and you see the castle where the Duke still lives. So you can't go in, but you see it from a distance. And then the next stop would be Appenzell. Appenzell, that is my home country. That's where my heart still belongs. That's where I grew up, and so we would make a stop in my home country. Appenzell is very, very famous for its cheese, so we could go see a cheese manufacturing place. Appenzell is located in the mountains, so depending on when we go, we could even go up to the mountains and get the kids a little idea, like they're not the Alps yet, but they get to see what real mountains look like. And then from Appenzell, we would go back to Lucerne, still in Switzerland, like the center of Switzerland at the Lake of Lucerne, and a very picturesque town, like probably one of the nicest towns in Switzerland next to Appenzell. And so that would be then the final part, and from there we would then probably leave from Zurich, the airport Zurich, and go back to the States rather than go back to Stuttgart. So this is like the ideas we have that we are thinking of planning the trip.
Thank you, Ingrid. We also have options to, and we talked about this in maybe the second trip around, you see France there, and Paris is 3 hours from Stuttgart as well. So depending upon when the trip would be, we could have a different navigation the second time around if we went. So just briefly, the trip would be similar to the Ireland exchange. The difference would be we're looking to travel every other year. So for example, if everything would play out the way we would hope, that next year our friends from Germany could visit us. The following year, our students would visit Germany. So our attracted audience right now would be our current sophomores. So that would give them ample time to maybe navigate savings and such. And we're looking at cost. Ingrid has friends, of course, there, because that's where she was born and raised. So she already has a gentleman at home that's been working with trying to, figure out where you would stay, those types of things, keeping cost effective. The idea would be that we would travel with our own, our students, but we would spend a week at school and travel for a week. And that's similar what they're talking about coming to us. So it wouldn't be quite the same where we do every single thing together. It'd be a little bit different. And they're looking to come here for 3 weeks, say spend a week with us and spend 2 weeks traveling. So that would just be their choice.